Hello everyone. Today I have a response to a specific video where I'm going to refute the debunking of a no free wills claim. Yes, I am debunking the debunking. Rebunking? Regardless. The philosopher at hand goes by Melonballer Nick on YouTube, which if you're watching this, sick name dude. He has a solid channel base, so I'm kind of biting the bullet here, but because I can't let this sit out there. From my point of view, it looks like a total straw man and a lot of people are buying it. He makes 3 rebuttals in his video. The one we're specifically targeting is his third refutation, so I'll roll the beginning of that clip.
When we go over these claims that we are tempted to accept as true, what are we really saying? When we use words like want or choose, what do we mean? And are we using these words consistently without equivocating? But what is want supposed to mean in each statement? Is the second statement that we don't control what we will? If that's the case, then that's a circular argument. The conclusion is whether the will is free or not.
So let's look at the first interpretation first. We do what we want, we can't control what we want, we can't control what we do. Then he provides this as the equivalent. We do what we will, we can't control what we will, we can't control what we do. His argument is that you then get, we do what we choose, we can't control what we choose, we can't control what we do. This obviously does not follow as a possibility, as he says it does, because will was unfortunately equivocated between 2 definitions. Will was brought in as the auxiliary verb definition 2 in verb section 1, and then left as the intransitive verbs definition 2 in the verb section 2. Editor's note, he actually has a false equivalency here too, because he used the definition of used to express willingness of will in the video, which then leaves as choose. The first definition of will meant an expression of desire. The second was to choose. This is evidenced by the fact that saying what you want does not mean you choose it, but rather that you'll likely consider it. I'll leave the point there because I feel that this equivocation is clear enough. So let's move on.
So then it must be instead that our desires are out of our control. But if this is the case, then in order to complete the argument without equivocating, the first premise must read that we do as we desire, which we often do not. If you do not enjoy work, or in that context desire it, then you do not choose to go to work because you want to. And if and when determinists respond back that you wanted to go to work, otherwise you wouldn't have gone if you were not willing to be there, here they are conflating want and will. I mean, it's right there. These arguments require us to subtly change what we mean by want in order to cheat and arrive at the conclusion that we do not have free will.
I really hate his use of the word cheat and his depiction of people who disagree with him. I know it's for entertainment, but pick a field, man. Philosophy or entertainment, you can't mix both like that. Anyway, this is a very basic kind of argument that has a very standard response, and he only mentions this one. The we do what we don't want is framed as only having one answer. You were willing to. This is absolutely not correct. One of the first counter arguments you will encounter is that there is a hierarchy of wants. For example, if we take going to the gym, I can think of 3 obvious wants involving such. The desire to get healthy, the desire to be lazy, the desire to exercise. If somebody is active but doesn't enjoy physical activity, they must have a stronger desire, i.e. to get healthy, that motivates them to exercise. That is why I organize them from highest, most motivating, to lowest, least motivating. Now, the no free will from wants argument presupposes the fact that we only do what we want the most, and a valid alternative is possible, like compatibilism. That does not mean denying free will is the only possible stance to take, and I admit that. It is more of a debate of explanatory power than anything, but framing such in a vulgar manner is not conducive to a healthy environment. What I really don't appreciate is not the strawman refutation, but the fact that you use such strong language involving the position of free will deniers. Here are some of the worst clips I don't like from the video.
The idea that we do not have free will just comes from a lazy, entitled, and blatantly disconnected view of reality. It's just going to be them rephrasing their preconceived notions in a way that will trick you. It is not an intelligent argument. Well, we don't choose what we want to do, so we don't actually choose because. No, there is no because. If you are a determinist, stop making affirmative arguments that distract from the flaws in your beliefs. This isn't a complicated issue. This is just something that they have to overcomplicate in order to push their beliefs. These are questions that determinists do not want to answer, because ultimately the only response that they've ever come up with is that we, with our sense of self, are an illusion. And much like a cult, that's something that you'll have to prime people to believe. It's something you'll only accept once you're past the point of no return in believing in their delusions. It isn't like dinner table conversation, because if it was, then ultimately everybody would realize that hardline determinism is complete and utter nonsense.
That is not a good look. People deserve the benefit of the doubt. It's not okay to assume their intentions like that and then get all nasty. I think the philosophy space deserves a lot better. I really did find earlier parts of the video enlightening on certain arguments, but again, the last refutation is simply fallacious. If you want a chance to refute me, I still think the we do what we want argument is the best, so if you come up with a more grounded refutation, I'd like to see what you come up with, because you were undoubtedly clever when it comes to these counter-arguments. I just think you should be less judgmental when it comes to other people. Anyway, thanks for watching, I appreciate it. I linked Melon Baller next video in the description if you want to see for yourself, and I hope you found it interesting. Have a good one.